Welcome back to Gadgetplex. We're talking about some information that you should have if you are a new RVer or planning to become a new RVer. And we're talking about some various ways to register your vehicle and save money that way. Also, just in terms of, if you're, especially if you're full-timing or if you're camping a lot, and what we call an extended traveler, there are some ways to save money that way as well, aren't there, Phil?
Yeah, that's right, Dave. And again, we kind of didn't discover this until we got into it a little bit. I mean, Good Sam is kind of like the standard at almost all of the parks. Take Good Sam, and that does many things, but the most significant is it gives you like a 10% discount at a lot of campsites. Mm-hmm. However, there's a couple of other organizations that people should be aware of. Passport America is a really good one, and the other one is Camp Club USA. Both of those two will give you, that's right, you can see the website there. Yeah. They're not expensive to join. They're, great organizations, and one of the best things is they will give you up to 50% discount on their member campsites.
Right. There's
so there are some caveats.
America there.
I was just going to say that you need to let them know when you're booking it. Do their sort of Passport America rates apply, because they exclude holidays, July 4th, and some of them will exclude weekends and high seasons. But that said, 50% discount is definitely worth having, and particularly if people have children. One of the frustrating things for us is because we were traveling with our kids, is that a lot of parks will charge extra for the children. Up to $3 or $4, sometimes even $5 each. I mean, what they thought the kids were going to do for those extra $5 or $10, I don't know. There's only so much water you can use. But you can avoid a lot of those charges with these Passport America and Camp USA, so that's good. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, sorry, Dave, I was going to say, for people who maybe not traveling around all the time, but maybe staying more in one region for a longer period of time, a club like 1,000 Trails might be useful. We've just joined them because we're sort of spending more time on the East Coast now, and we're in the southeastern region that they called it. I think we paid about $7 for the year, but then that entitled us for 30 nights. Oh, that's right. You can see the website there. And they kind of had a bad name for many years, and that's why we didn't join. But I don't know whether they've got new management, but they've completely changed all of their zoning and pricing. So I'd encourage. Yeah, and actually, that's the other thing, is they also include Encore as well, which is a nice organization of a lot of different parks. So we joined, and we got the first 30 nights that we stayed there were for free, and then I think it's $3 a night. And they have certain rules, like you can only be in a park for up to 2 weeks, and then you have to be out for 2 weeks. So if people are interested, go and check out the website. But if you're not traveling around too much and you can get to use them, that's my only caveat. Sometimes you can buy these clubs and then you end up never using them. So take a look at the region where the parks are, and
Yeah, Phil, Thousand Trails has been around for at least 20 years or so. They started out as a kind of a timeshare program for extended travel RVers, etc. But it's really not that anymore, is it?
No, it's changed a lot, Dave, and it's good for bringing that up. Thank you. It's they went through a lot of challenges, and back when we first started on the trip, you could go onto eBay and you could see people looking to try and sell their slots and their timeshares because it was just getting really expensive. That seems to have all gone away now, and so it's really just you pay your dues. And by the way, I think ours was a little bit more expensive because we paid extra for Encore. I think it's like 400 and something if you just want the 1,000 Trails, and you just really not buying anything, any plots or anything. That just entitles you to stay there.
Gotcha. Okay. Some other ways of, in terms of that first RV and the new RV and planning on how you're going to be traveling and using your vehicle, brings up this idea of extended warranties. Is that something that's really worthwhile? On some products it makes sense, and on some products it really doesn't.
It's a really weird thing, isn't it? I mean, from a technology point of view, I'm often very leery of people pushing extended warranties. You get in Best Buy and they'll push extended warranty on a set of headphones or something.
Right.
I mean, because they make a lot of money out of it. Certain things do make sense. We talked about laptops and taking warranty on those. RVs, I think, is definitely something that's worth considering. But I think you have to have the right mindset around it. For me, an extended warranty is worthwhile because it helps you manage your predictability in terms of what your expenditure is going to be. One of the hard things with RVing is you're often on a budget, and then to have a big expense item like if the air conditioner packs up or one of the slide motors breaks and that type of thing, it can cost you a lot of money that maybe you haven't budgeted for. With an extended service plan warranty, you're paying for that, but they're going to cover the bulk of those big expense items. So it's like you're paying for peace of mind, you're given predictability, and really don't expect to make, to sort of, everybody sort of goes into it and will tell you, oh, I did great, we made money and it was a good thing to do. And if you don't do that, you shouldn't feel bad about it. You probably, not everybody can make on these things, otherwise the companies would go out of business. So they're very clever about what they do, and they know exactly what breaks and what doesn't break and how to price it. So you need to think about what it is that you're buying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're just saying you don't make your money back, but it does solve an awful lot of issues. You don't have to worry about where or how you're going to get something fixed when it does have to be fixed.
That for me is it, because when you're on an RV trip, you don't want to be sort of worried about what happens if this breaks or that breaks. If you have one of those plans, a good one, and obviously, before you look at it, go onto the forums, see what people have said about them, read the fine print, because there's a lot of fine print and a lot of things in there that you don't expect. But generally, the good ones will cover the big items, so the parts. Some will or won't cover labor. But they will, again, the good ones will cover things like if the rig breaks, you have to go into a hotel. That can be very expensive. A friend of mine had a transmission problem. He was broke down outside of Chicago, and he was in a hotel in Chicago for 2 weeks. If he hadn't have had a good service plan, that would have cost him a lot of money. So in those instances, for me, that's what it buys for me, is that kind of peace of mind in a time when I don't be worried about those types of things.
Yeah, it's a convenience aspect of it. And really, like an extended warranty is essentially a kind of insurance policy, but which brings up the topic of insurance in general. Are there some specific things that we ought to be looking for when it comes to insurance?
Yeah, I think so. And again, I'm not an insurance expert, other than the fact I've gone through it, and some things that I picked up along the way is that it generally pays to go with a company that specializes in RVs. So lots of companies will offer RV insurance or will take RVs, but not so many of them will have policies that are designed for RVers, if you understand the difference. The sorts of things that the plans I'm talking about will be is they'll cover you for if you don't have if it's not covered on your vehicle plan, if it breaks and you have to go into a hotel, they will have a good level of coverage for your contents, because of course if you're full timing, you've got a lot of valuable things in your rig, so you want to make sure that they are insured. So those are the types of things to look for in that plan. You also want to look for what type of replacement coverage is it. If something terrible happens, and let's hope that it never does, I for one would like new for old. And so if you're going for that, make sure that they offer it and that they continue to offer it, and don't try and I don't know how. All I can say is somewhere along the way, we've had the same coach and the same company, and we had new for old when we started, and now we don't. And I'm still trying to get to the bottom of how that happened. From my experience, just watch out for it, and if you're looking for another carrier, again, make sure you don't lose that new for old, because it's not transferable generally. Okay,
great. Well, we're going to come back here in just a moment, and we're going to talk a little bit about towing and protecting yourself when you're towing another vehicle. So stay with us here on Gadgetplex. Got a question or comment for Gadgetplex's Phil May? Send him an email at gadgetplex@rvnn.tv or leave a voicemail for Phil at 877-578-RVNN, extension 703. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to RVNN.com.